Good morning. My name is Jim Rooney. I'm the Executive Director of the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority. Welcome to our ceremonies marking the opening of this magnificent new facility, Boston's newest landmark, the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. As we gather in this historic city of Boston, which has played such a compelling role in the birth of our democracy, as we come together blessed as a free people in celebration of indeed another achievement of American ingenuity and the American worker, please rise and join me in a moment of silence in honor of Ronald Wilson Reagan, the 40th President of these United States, who will always be remembered for his optimism, leadership, and a passion for democracy and freedom that truly changed the world. Thank you. Please remain standing. There is so much teamwork and so many role players that have been involved in this project, the largest building ever constructed in New England. Among the most important players have been the over 3,000 skilled men and women of the local building trades. During the hundreds of times I've walked through this site and this building, I was amazed at their skills, pride, and workmanship. One of my most memorable events occurred 2 years ago on the first anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attack. That day, 1,200 construction workers gathered on a partially constructed exhibit floor to honor the memory of those who fell on 9/11. And none who were there will ever forget the stirring rendition of our national anthem by Michelle Murphy, our own local 7 iron worker. Please once again welcome back iron worker Michelle Murphy to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow, isn't she great? An iron worker. Please be seated. Welcome once again to the new Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. This is a great day for the Convention Center Authority, the City of Boston, and the Commonwealth. We're so proud to have you all here today and to see this tremendous turnout. For those who have worked to make this project a reality, it's an amazing feeling to present to you this finished product. Every day I hear it from the men and women who have worked on this project, how proud they are to have been a part of it, and how someday they'll tell their children and their grandchildren that they played a role in building Boston's and New England's largest landmark building. What a feeling. To all our friends in the convention, trade show, and meetings industry who are here today, it's official. Boston's arrived in the big leagues, and we came to win. Now on to the program. To introduce Governor Romney, I'm honored to bring to the podium the chairman of the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority Board of Directors, Gloria Cordes Larson. Gloria has been the chair of the MCCA since 1998, and since then, Gloria has worked tirelessly to lead us to this day. She actually has what she calls a real day job as director of the Government Practices Group at Foley Hoag. But with the time and work she's put into this building, many people think that that's her full-time job. Gloria has been with the project since the beginning, in good times and in bad, and has remained focused on the goal of bringing Boston a world-class convention facility. As a skillful chairman does, through all the ups and downs of a 5-year project, Gloria has kept the focus of the organization and the team on the ultimate goal, and that's what leadership is all about. Please welcome Gloria Larson.
Thank you, Jim, and welcome to the largest building in New England. We have the 9th largest exhibition space in the country, the largest ballroom in New England, which means we can host 44,000 of our closest friends. It also means we can serve dinner to 3,500 guests, and we can accommodate all their needs with more than 40 bathrooms. But this is much more than just a huge building. The Boston Globe architectural critic Robert Campbell, not given to hyperbole, wrote just 3 weeks ago, the BCEC has both brains and beauty. He called our convention center a standout, and he said this colossal new center may well be the best of its kind in the United States. So why are we important to the region? Well, first, over time, this convention center is going to be a big economic boost to our incredibly important leading industry, the travel and tourism folks. For years, Boston has routinely ranked at the top of the list of all the meeting planners. They all want to bring their conventions and their trade shows to Boston, yet the Heinz was far too small to accommodate the biggest shows. Now, at long last, as of today, we can compete for the top medical shows, the top education shows, the top technology shows, all of whom want to come to Boston. Just ask Microsoft why they're moving their giant tech world here from LA in 2006, or Bio why they're bringing 20,000 biotechnology experts here in 2007, or the Association of Orthodontists bringing 20,000 dentists to Boston just a couple of years later. All three and scores of others are going to tell you that it's because Boston is Boston and they want to come to our great city, and now they want to come to the new, most high-tech convention center in the country. This is exactly where they want to be, which is why today we welcome, thank you. Which is why today we welcome Michael Payne and the other folks from Smith Buckland, the leading association management company in the U.S. Michael, we're so glad to see you here early. We want to see you here often, and we sure hope you bring every one of your leading shows to Boston. Opening in July, we're going to start with Macworld, SAP Global, and then the opening event, 15,000 people for the Democratic National Convention, bringing lots of new out-of-town dollars to Boston, to our travel and tourism industry, as well as, of course, tax revenues for the Commonwealth and the city. But there's another reason why I think this project is so important, and that's our role as a catalyst for this new Boston waterfront. Talk to the who's who of developers, many of whom are here today. John Drew, Joe Fallon, Joe Joe O'Donnell, Steve Karp, Alan Leventhal, Frank and Jamie McCourt, just back from LA. And every one of them will tell you that they are working on a much faster timeline to develop this waterfront because the BCEC is here and open for business. Economic cycles are beyond all of our control. And of course, we've just gone through a couple of tough years, but you just look right outside this door. There are a lot of new buildings that are opening this summer in just a few months. There are new buildings that are already under construction, and they're buildings on the drawing boards, and we're so happy to see them. None more so than our fabulous new 800-room Westin, which just to the east of this building is already under construction and will open in just 2 short years. Now, this is happening in Boston because this is an urban planner's dream come true. Can you just imagine 1,000 almost blank, ready-to-be developed acres, 8 minutes from Logan Airport, linked by 21st century underground tunnels that can whisk you north, south, and west, just minutes from Back Bay, Cambridge, and Beacon Hill, all located squarely on Boston's incredible waterfront. We are so proud that we are helping to develop this brand new neighborhood, a real neighborhood, Mr. Mayor, just as you've always envisioned, that's going to work for workers, it's going to work for residents, and it's going to work for the hundreds of thousands of new visitors who are going to be visiting this center. And finally, we're also proud to be creating a new 21st century face for the great city of Boston. That's why we went to the ends of the earth to hire our architects, Raphael Vignoli, HNTB, and Primary Group. Considered one of the world's best architects, Raphael Vignoli envisioned this building as a giant wave that starts low in the back and sweeps to a tall front with a sweeping canopy over Summer Street facing the harbor with a giant metal roof that I swear you'll be able to see from outer space. Already getting rave reviews, we believe this building is a perfect complement to an older European-like city, a great city, Boston, and by building aggressively modern buildings like this, cheek to jowl with beautiful older buildings, this city, already great, is looking more and more like New York, Barcelona, Paris, and London. Raphael, your vision and your brilliance have created a world-class building for a world-class city, Boston. Now, there are a couple of people that it's my honor to thank. This convention center would not be here without what has been a phenomenal team, both the team that worked directly on the building and the thousands of supporters around the region. From the governor to Mayor Menino to the legislature to the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce to the travel and tourism industry to our terrific South Boston neighbors, this project would not have been brought to successful completion had all of you not been with us throughout this. Thank you so much to everyone in the region. I think most of you are actually here today. Mayor Menino, a particular note of gratitude to you. Thank you for this building. Thank you for your vision with respect to our hotel. And thank you most of all for making this waterfront happen. It's your determination that's led to today. Thank you, Mayor Menino. And a very big thanks to our dedicated, hardworking, engaged board of directors, to our phenomenal architects, our phenomenal construction manager, Howard Davis, our equally phenomenal owners rep, Tishman Corporation, our top-notch builders, Clark, Hunt Corporation, and William A. Berry and Son. And most of all, as Jim said, to the 3,000 men and women who helped build this building, along with the 17 different building trades who put this together. Every single one of you did a top-notch job from start to finish. You have created a model for public and private sector projects to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you all. And a special thanks to two people who are largely responsible for bringing this project, I finally get to say this, on time and on budget. Our Board Development Committee Chairman, Dean Stratuli, and MCCA CEO, Jim Rooney. You both truly deserve the thanks of all of us for your smart, experienced service, as well as your incredibly tight-fisted and successful stewardship of this huge project. Jim, I have no doubt that given a little time, you're going to make this the best convention center in the country. Thank you both so much. I don't know if any of of you can tell, but I'm pretty excited today. When Governor Cellucci called me 6.5 years ago to head up this project, this day seemed light years away. But here we are, we're opening when we said we would, within the budget, the legislature, and far more importantly, within the budget, our real bosses, the taxpayers of Massachusetts, gave us. We genuinely believe this is going to be a great success over time. This waterfront will be a great new neighborhood and an exciting new skyline for Boston. In fact, I am positive we will soon, Mayor Menino and Governor Romney, have the best waterfront in the world. It's going to take a lot of hard work. I know a bunch of people here today are going to play a very significant role. The results are going to be worth the wait. Take it from a Southern transplant. This is already an absolutely great city, but it's about to get a whole lot better. Now it's my pleasure to introduce somebody who spends every waking moment trying to help Massachusetts stay and get on the right economic track, setting a new course for a successful, prosperous future. Whether he's helping to right our fiscal house, keep our business costs down, address housing affordability and smart growth, upgrade our aging infrastructure, helping our leading industries thrive and grow like biotech, making sure we have the world's most educated workforce, Governor Romney is truly a governor for all seasons. And as we've discovered over the last year at the MCCA, he also happens to be the world's best salesman, already helping us to land new conventions and trade shows at the BCEC. We expect to call on him early and often to help make this center a resounding success. Help me call on him right now, my favorite governor, Mitt Romney.
What an extraordinary human being she is. Isn't that extraordinary? My goodness, Gloria Larson, wow. I'll tell you, there are a lot of skeptics, you know. There were a lot of skeptics about the whole project. There are probably a lot of skeptics about whether we're going to make all the economics work, but you know, she's going to drag this building and all of us over the line herself. She is an extraordinary powerhouse. Her energy and passion she's shown you this morning. I love having Larson responsible for this, and I'd like to have her responsible for all of our challenges. She'll make everything work. What a remarkable woman. I also want to express appreciation to the other dignitaries who are here. Mayor Menino, President Michael Flaherty, Councilor Kelly. Also want to thank Mark Maloney, who's here, the BRA, Senator Hart, Representative Wallace. I see Treasurer Cahill is here also. We have such an extraordinary group. Members of the General Quarter here. I hope I said Representative Wallace. Did I mention you? Yes, I did. A lot of elected officials are here, but you know, the folks that paid for this, the folks that are the bosses, they're maybe on the TV looking in tonight and seeing 5 seconds of what's going on here. But you know, about 650 or 700 million of their dollars paid for this building. It's amazing what a few $100 million will build, isn't it? And these are the taxpayers of Massachusetts. They put the money up for this facility, and they did so with hope in their heart that it would come back to them, that this would be an investment that would pay dividends. Dividends in terms of jobs and tax revenues, and that all that would be repaid many times over. That's their hope. What an extraordinary building. Gloria told me how long it is. You can look out there and you see down there and you can see the far wall. And I don't know if you have a sense of how big it is. If I were to ask you, do you think it's taller, for instance, than, let's say the Hancock Building? You look at that and you say, no, it's not as tall as the Hancock Building. But actually, in terms of length, this building is longer than the Hancock Building is tall. It's actually longer than the Empire State Building is tall. The people who designed this building and the workers who constructed it found a way to make something very, very large look small. They're in the wrong business. They should go in the diet business, the clothing business, the apparel design business. If they could make me look a lot smaller, we'd all be a lot happier if we could find a way to do that. They did a remarkable thing, making something very large that could be imposing and instead make it fit in beautifully in a neighborhood and part of a waterfront development vision that's going to make this an attraction for many, many years to come and be a high point of people's trips as they come to Boston and to Massachusetts. Boston is America's great city. People come from all over the country to see it. I just had the thrill of being in Los Angeles and San Francisco this week. Boston is still #1 I was at the convention center there, the Moscone Center, for Bio 2004. They're getting ready to come for Bio 2007 right here. We have a better building, a better city, a welcoming and hospitable group of people around this center, and we're going to be able to put on a show that the nation is not going to forget. Now, I want to mention as well that there are some of us who were concerned about how much money the taxpayers were going to have to pay for this building. I'm not sure I'd have had the courage, Mayor Menino, to follow along in Governor Cellucci's footsteps in putting this kind of investment in here. But I recognize that there are some features that we have that other cities don't have. Yeah, when you build a convention center, you are able to attract money for the travel and tourism industry. Hotels, motels, food, entertaining, and so forth will all be boosted by conventions that come here. But there's a second benefit we get in Boston that most convention centers don't get, and most convention cities don't get. I was at the automobile show a couple of years ago in Detroit at Cobo Hall. I've been to a lot of halls. Most of the time you go to the event, you see the show, and then you go home thankful that you're on your way back to your hometown. People are going to come here, and some of them are not just going to say it was a great show with great meals and great hotels, but they're going to say, you know, I'd like to locate my enterprise in or near Boston. I'd like to move there permanently, either as a resident or as someone who builds an enterprise there. And that's the second dividend Boston gets that many other convention centers and cities do not get. People who come here and experience this city will want to remain a part of this city, not just for 4 or 5 days of a convention, but for their entire economic lifetime. And it's that reward that I hope makes sure that this is a resounding success, not just in terms of its beauty, its magnificence, its element of focus for the entire waterfront, but also for its economics long term. So thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Jim. To the team that's going to make this work, we have great confidence in you. We have great hopes in you, and we want to make sure this is a success for many, many years to come. Thank you to the board. Thank you to the construction workers that made this extraordinary building such a beautiful edifice. What a job they did. The designers, engineers, architects, so many have come together from our city to build what is a remarkable edifice. To you, we owe a great debt of gratitude and thanks. More power to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Governor Romney. No elected official has been more of a champion of this project and this effort to elevate Boston into the elite class of convention cities than our Mayor, Thomas M. Menino. During every phase, from the siting and legislative drafting days of the mid-90s, the mayor has stepped up to the plate. During the design and community process, Tom Menino was there striking the right balance. And 2 years ago, when he felt the marketing effort wasn't up to par, Mayor Menino got on the phone and let me and Pat Muscatola know about it. About 6 months ago, as our headquarters hotel was trying to get over the financing finish line, Mayor Menino stepped in again with a $15 million HUD loan that sealed that deal. And he did it with the 12% interest on the payback. Nice work, Mr. Mayor. The project broke ground last Friday, and the new Westin Hotel will open next door in just 24 months. Please join me in welcoming a friend, a true leader in the effort to develop this waterfront, Boston Mayor Thomas M. Menino.
Thank you, Jim, Governor Romney, Gloria Larson, elected officials. I love conventions and convention halls. And I love the building trades. We're all the building trades. They're here today. You guys should be getting all the credit for doing this work here today. And I want to thank Gloria Larson and the MCCA board for all they did to bring this world-class facility to our city. And thank all our partners whose vision and dedication brought this project to life. Today really is a real milestone in our city's history. We all know it's over 500,000 square feet of exhibit space. It's the largest convention center in the Northeast. We all know those things. But what this is a catalyst for, 1,000 acres on this waterfront. Just last week, we broke ground for the headquarters hotel. A few months ago, we broke ground for the 647 rental housing units down across from Jimmy's Harborside. Shortly, the Marriott Hotel, the Core Block. All that's happening because of the investment in the convention center. This convention center will create over 5,000 real jobs in our city. And that's what we got to do, continue to create new jobs in the city of Boston. You know, the design is spectacular. When you look at the span of the roof size here and how much room you have here, and the length of this, you know, we could have a lot of fundraisers and have walking around here. It's 1.25 miles, so we could do about 10 miles in here and charge for that. But I just want to say today, this is how you get things done in Boston, working together. You know, you can't do it singularly. Mayors can't go up here and say they did it. It's everyone working together to accomplish our goals. And that's what we've done here. Jim Rooney did a great job when he took over the new convention center. Gloria Larson, she's been a stalwart from day one. We've had many conversations over the last several years on this convention center. But it takes a team. Nobody can say, I did it. It's a team that did it. The board and all the decisions they made over the last several years. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you for the faith you have in the South Boston waterfront, and the South Boston elected officials. You know, there's a community behind it, and they've taken that into consideration also, how we work with that community back in South Boston. So I just want to say thank you to everyone here. But there's one guy I wanted to just point out today. My former chief financial officer, the visionary for this real project, the guy who made the numbers work from day one, Eddie Collins. Eddie, right over there. So thank you. And unlike all those reports we've seen that nobody will use this, we have about 43 conventions already booked for this hall. And Governor, you're going to get all the taxes too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mayor. As Mayor Menino said, there's so many people who deserve to be thanked as we cross the threshold from construction project to operating convention facility. Others have remarked about this fabulous building, but a project of this magnitude does not get to this point without the right mix of teamwork, leadership, and cooperation. I can't name and thank everybody the way that I'd like to on the team who helped out in so many ways, big and small, but I do want to single out just a few. First, I want to thank the MCCA Board of Directors for their support over the past few years. Without their guidance and leadership, we wouldn't be here today. Especially Dean Stratulli. Gloria's already mentioned him. Dean is the chairman of the Development Committee of the board. I often describe Dean as my perfect board member. As an engineer and an experienced developer and builder, Dean's advice and counsel at some very critical points have been invaluable. From the beginning, Dean was determined to set a tone that this would not be just another public construction project that lost control of its schedule and its budget, and we didn't. Dean knew when to lead, when to follow, and when to get out of my way, and Dean, I'll be forever grateful. Howard Davis. Howard was my construction project director on this job, who on a daily basis oversaw all the moving pieces: logistics, design issues, contractor management, contract disputes, and yes, even the selection of the paint colors. Howard is a true construction management pro, the best I've seen. If I could award a most valuable player on the project, it would go to Howard Davis. Thank you, Howard. I also want to add my thanks to Gloria's, to our project team, Tishman Construction, our owner's representative led by Dan McQuaid, Raphael Vignoli Architects, HNTB, our design team, and all of their sub-consultants, Clark Hunt and Berry, our construction managers, as well as the 178 subcontractors and suppliers led by Project Executive Bud Grove. To all of our project team, job well done. We've had many partners on this job, but none more important than the Boston Redevelopment Authority, led by Mark Maloney. The BRA worked side by side with us on the 60 acres of land acquisition and site preparation so we could actually build this building. But beyond that, Very important to us, over the past 6 years, the mayor and the BRA have quietly facilitated the construction of over 6,000 new hotel rooms in Boston. Thank you to Mark and to your team. As Gloria mentioned, we've also received tremendous support from the business community, Art Cantor in the lodging industry, Paul Guzzi and the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. Thank you both for all of your leadership and your organization's support along the way. Managing major public projects in an urban environment can be tough, and I can tell you I have the bruises and scar tissue to prove it. But I think many public managers, and some private ones for that matter, get it wrong when it comes to the community process. There's no greater example of the value of community process, community dialogue, and community partnership than this project. At the end of the day, if you do it right and value the leadership of local elected officials and respect the host community, you'll wind up with a better project, and that's what we have here today. Joining us on stage are 4 elected officials from our host community of South Boston: Senator Jack Hart, Representative Brian Wallace, Boston City Council President Michael Flaherty, and Councilor Jim Kelly. Congressman Lynch, who worked as a state senator back then on the legislation that created this project, wanted to be here but is stuck down in Washington. As a group, the South Boston elected officials have, in a passionate and articulate way, represented the interests of their constituents while helping move this project to successful completion. Please join me in welcoming State Senator Jack Hart, a lifelong friend, who some 7 years ago, as a first-term representative, gave his maiden speech in support of the Convention Center legislation. Senator Jack Hart.
Thank you very much, Jim Rooney. You know it's a big deal when you come to an engagement like this, and between the introductions, as you're being introduced, they play music. It's like the Jay Leno show here. This is an unbelievable day, and so many people played a role here. I'd like to also mention the late Congressman Joe Moakley, along with now Congressman Steve Lynch, that really played a role here with all of us in the South Boston community in putting this thing together. If you all recall, going back maybe 7 to 10 years ago, there was talk about a megaplex. This is the result of the megaplex, one standing convention center, and it's just a magnificent facility that we're all very proud of. Jim had mentioned a moment ago that I gave my maiden speech, and he's right. Back in 1997, I gave my maiden speech in the House of Representatives, the maiden speech being your first speech on the House floor. And my mother had tuned in, and a number of friends and relatives tuned in, and they were astounded at the end of the speech when I got a standing ovation for the tremendous speech that I gave. Little did they know that as a custom or tradition in the House, whenever you give your maiden speech, everybody stands and applauds. So I don't know if this is going to be on cable tonight, but if you see my mother around, Ellie Hart, her name is, please don't tell her that they stood only because it was the maiden speech. I'd also like to bring greetings from the President of the Senate, Bob Travellini, and also Tom Birmingham, who was the President of the Senate at the time, along with our thanks go to Governor Weld and Governor Sallucci as well. Many people in this room, particularly our Mayor, Tom Menino, had a dream going back nearly 10 years ago, and the gumption to try to make it a reality. It was a dream to do something spectacular here in Boston that many said couldn't be done. Not in Boston. They said, no way. The dream was, if you can imagine this, to build a state-of-the-art signature piece of architecture, a magnificent new convention center somewhere within the city of Boston. Preposterous, you say. Think again. It's finished. We are here, and I think we settled on a pretty good place to build this building, don't you? Right here in the South Boston waterfront. Take a good look around at what will certainly be the engine that will drive the local and the regional economies for many years to come. And we have so many people to thank who developed the will to make this thing happen. Tom Menino. Ladies and gentlemen, without Tom Menino, this would not have happened. Tom Menino was the catalyst from the beginning, and he deserves another round of applause. For the political leadership and for generating the ability to pay for this structure, Governors Weld, Cellucci, Speaker of the House Tom Finneran, I mentioned Tom Birmingham, and most recently, President Robert Travellini, our great mayor in the Boston City Council. For developing the business will, the Chamber of Commerce, Paul Guzzi, in the local Chamber of Commerce in South Boston here, Don Wilson, Karen Stanley, I know that Mike Foley was involved as well, and also we had a design advisory committee here in South Boston that worked with the designers to make sure that not only was this a great signature piece of architecture, but that it would have some neighborhood input. And Bob O'Shea was the chairman of the design advisory committee, and I wanted to thank Bob O'Shea publicly. For the building trades, I salute you for your skill and your expertise. You should all be proud. Somebody once said it takes genius to have the vision, but labor to make it a reality, and that's the case here today. Most of all, and most importantly, I'd like to express my thanks to the great people of my community of South Boston. This beautiful structure would not have been possible without your approval. We came together 7 years ago, going to countless meetings to make the decision to bring this convention center here. A lot of people have said over the years that the people in South Boston, they're against everything. Well, this is proof that we take the time to analyze the projects and to pick the good ones. We know that this was good for the city, and this will be great for the region, and that the neighborhood would have the opportunity to share in the success that we all knew that it would be. So today, we celebrate a historic moment. Let's work together in order to make this convention center a success, because that's what it'll take, a lot of work together. Thank you all, and congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Hart. Quite a baseball player, too. Also representing the South Boston community that I'd like to bring up to the podium is Boston City Councilor Jim Kelly. I know of no elected official that represents his district and does his job with more passion than Jim Kelly. He's not unwilling to tell you when you're doing a good job, and he's certainly not afraid to tell you when he thinks you need to smarten up. A 7-time council president and sheet metal worker, during every one of his 6 or 7 visits to the job site during construction, I thought he was going to strap on the belt and jump in the crew. Please welcome City Councilor Jim Kelly.
Thank you very much, Governor Romney, Mayor Menino, my colleagues in government. Particularly honored to be here today, and I want to thank Council President Mike Flaherty and Representative Brian Wallace that each allotted me their 10-minute time segment to speak today. So I particularly also want to thank Mayor Tom Menino. As Jack Hart just said, if it wasn't for Tom Menino, this would not have happened, and that is so true. Tom Menino made the gutty decision. He made the right decision at some point. Within the next few years, within the next decade, probably spread over the next couple of decades, the South Boston waterfront is going to be a source of pride for not only for the people of South Boston, but for the residents of the city and beyond. And Tom Menino, we thank you for your guts, your determination, and your leadership. I also want to take the opportunity to personally thank Gloria Larson for her leadership, and also particularly to Jim Rooney, who took something that was a great idea, and Jim Rooney is the guy that made it happen. And of course, Jim was appointed by Gloria, by Dan Stratulli, and the other members of the board, and they could not have picked a more competent, more determined individual than Jim Rooney. I also want to add my voice to the appreciation extended to the men and women of the Boston Building Trades. I think Joe Nigro, the president of the Building Trades, is here someplace. Joe, thank you for all you've done, not only on this project, but all that you do across the city for the working men and women. I also want to thank the many union contractors. And like any event of this nature, there are always people that worked so hard and so diligently that never ever get recognized. And I'd just like to acknowledge some people that worked very, very closely with Bob O'Shea in the South Boston Design Advisory Committee, labored day and night trying to make this project something that was good for the city and also good for the neighborhood. Working with Bobby O'Shea was Mary Bender. I see her down the back. I see Dodo Nee right in front of me. Barbara Murphy is here. Mike Baer, the president of the South Boston Citizens Association, is here as well. All of you people deserve a great deal of affection and the respect of your neighbors here in South Boston. Let me just close by also thanking a couple of other people. I see Peter Welch back there, an unsung hero that worked very closely with then Representative Jack Hart and then State Senator Steve Lynch. Working in my office, we worked 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night on many nights. We worked weekends trying to make this project a reality. Peter Welch was great. David Passafarro was outstanding. And someone that also should be acknowledged is the former BRA Director, Tom O'Brien. I thank all of those people for what they've done for the city, particularly the neighborhood of South Boston. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Kelly. Our first events are just 1 month away. On July 12th, we will welcome Macworld back to Boston. And along with them, SAP, a German software firm, will hold an event in the building at the same time. Right off the bat, we will show the world the size and flexibility of this building by hosting 2 major events at the same time. Then on July 24th, we get to show off to the entire nation when 15,000 journalists from around the country attend the media party kicking off the Democratic National Convention. That night, our enormous kitchen will crank out 350,000, you heard me right, 350,000 hors d'oeuvres, and we will have 150 bartenders in the building taking care of business. We're of course here today to celebrate not only the end of a construction project, but the beginning of Boston taking its place in the class of elite premier convention facilities. Political leadership, brilliant architects and engineers, skilled tradespeople, and many, many others have given us this magnificent building, which will allow us to compete with cities across the United States and indeed the world for conventions, trade shows, and meetings. It's not going to be easy, but we all know, especially those of you gathered here from the hospitality and tourism industry, that as a city and a state, we have so much to offer. Now, just as we did during the development and construction phase, we're challenged to come together to make Boston a premier convention city. Our team at the MCCA is ready to offer best-of-class service to our customers. To our partners, hotels, restaurants, attractions, taxi drivers, airport managers, political leaders, and everyone else who will be involved in making a meeting at this facility so successful that the delegates will leave saying they can't wait to come back, we know we can count on you. Together, let's raise the bar. Let's set a new standard of excellence in this industry. Just like in any business or marketplace, in the coming years, there will be winners and losers in the convention industry. Spread the word. Boston's arrived, we're open for business, and we will be among the winners. Before I close, I want to thank Pat Muscatola from the Greater Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau for all his help and support. 2 years ago, we partnered with Pat to create a whole new Okay, we're open for business. Thank you, Blue Man Group. I couldn't have said it better myself.